Welcome all, I'm joined by the CEO of Wirestock, Mikayel Khachatryan, which is a company that has overcome some major hurdles as of late. So let's find out a little more about this Armenian IT success story. So Mikayel, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So to better understand Wirestock for our watchers, in an article recently by the Tech Times, Wirestock is described as a new platform that helps visual content creators monetize their photos, graphics, and videos. So can you explain it a bit for our watchers?
Yeah, it's basically exactly that. Like the article describes it, we help photographers, like graphic designers, video creators, sell their content much more easily and faster. So what we do is we connect creators with multiple marketplaces that have existed for years now, for decades. Like some of the more famous ones are like Shutterstock, Adobe, Canva, etc., etc. And so we essentially make it easy to upload and list content on these marketplaces, and then easily sell like different kinds of works like photos, videos, etc. Essentially helping creators save time and focus on what they do best, which is like creating awesome stuff. So yeah.
I mean, in the Tech Times article, it even mentions that Wirestock recently raised $2.3 million, which is a very large amount of money. I'm wondering what plans you and your team have, what you guys are going to do with the funds.
Yeah, the way we look at it is it's our first sort of bigger round, and it was a very important sort of milestone step for us. And so it will allow us to essentially build upon what we've already managed to create with the ecosystem and creator base, and basically grow much faster in the next few months, and then hopefully do another round and then keep growing that way.
When was Wirestock launched? When did it start?
It was in 2019.
Okay.
And yeah.
So what was it like in the beginning when it first started?
The initial idea was really different. The thing that got us started and excited was a completely different idea, and was sort of similar to the current, like the NFT, sort of NFT promise of like essentially allowing creators and buyers sell content like on blockchain and register artworks on blockchain type of thing. But then we really got into it and started doing a lot of research in the space, started talking to creators like photographers who had like real problems and were telling us about their problems. And what we ended up realizing is that the real problem was essentially like the difficulties of like the sort of the manual aspects of this process of selling content. And that's why we decided to solve specifically that problem. And then it was like tens, like multiple iterations of things, you know, that we tried to basically arrive at the model that we have now with Wirestock.
What exactly is an NFT? I've been hearing a lot recently in the past week.
It's essentially like a way of registering an artwork on blockchain, like a distributed ledger.
Okay.
Sort of like similar to a Bitcoin model or like an Ethereum. But it's like instead of having like a coin or like a currency, you are essentially creating a token that represents an art work. So yeah, which is sort of like forever registered or forever exists on a blockchain that's like a distributed ledger.
Okay. And we've been hearing a lot as of late about the Armenian IT sector, why it's important for the Armenian economy, and how a lot of people are hopeful that the sector will continue to grow. First off, what do you think about the state of the Armenian IT sector? And also, have you seen the mindset of a lot of the people involved in the sector evolving or changing with time?
Yeah, certainly. So I got into this sort of Armenian tech space about 8 years ago. I was in finance in the beginning, and then I really got excited and inspired what the tech scene was becoming, like very, very early. And it was a very different world back then. We had maybe a few startups, like just maybe even less than 10 that I could recall. And then it wasn't a thing. Back then you had a lot of companies that were doing like sort of like dev shops that were doing like just servicing foreign companies and helping them build products. And there weren't a lot of companies building products from Armenia. And then I saw sort of this thing really evolve and change, where now we have dozens of companies that are building really cool stuff, interesting products, and are really just bold and aggressive in trying, and believing in sort of big visions and building big companies. And so that's, to me, is a big change, and it requires a change in the mindset of people in the industry as well.
So how would you say the mindset is changing? Is it about becoming more professional, or what exactly how would you describe it?
I think the main change is in the mindset of like thinking more long term.
Okay.
And instead of like thinking, okay, I'm going to like I have a certain skill in like programming or design, and I'm going to like sell my skills, like do some like monthly, like some sort of a freelance work, or I start a company and I service a foreign firm and I get paid for it. Instead of that, the idea is I'm going to build a brand and build a product that will essentially be used by millions of people or by really large companies around the world. And it's a much more challenging task, but it's one that requires a lot more work and dedication and specific type of mindset. And so that's where I see where things are changing, but are not quite there yet. I think we as an industry haven't really, kind of gotten there where we are really at that level. But I see a positive change towards that mindset, which I think is super, super important.
Mm-hmm. And as someone involved in the IT sector, what are some of the problems that still exist? I mean, you just mentioned the mindset, but what are some of the obstacles that remain, in your opinion?
I think it's kind of the most important one is what I mentioned, like essentially just sort of like transitioning from the traditional model of running a business, which is basically like you have a business owner that controls essentially everything and hires people and pays them salaries and then keeps all the profits, between the shareholders, type of the traditional model. Going from that to something where you're building an organization where everyone has some sort of ownership in the company and in the outcome, and and all of the employees have some sort of ownership, and then you have investors that are also vested and are really in this for the long game for 5 to 7 years, and everyone has this common goal of going somewhere where you can like then become like hopefully a multi-billion-dollar company. Like we have great examples of that. And so that believing that and understanding the sort of like the big potential of this is super important. And then the other things obviously is obviously like more fundamental things like education is very important, science, having good universities where people can learn all these skills and kind of have like a jump start and be able to join and help companies earlier, as opposed to relying on companies to educate them and things like that. So like education is obviously the other important thing.
Yeah, and when it comes to education, when you meet other people who are doing well in tech, are they usually educated in Armenia or abroad?
I think I would say for the most part, it's most of the people are educated here. Yeah.
Nice. And going into the future, what plans does Wirestock have for 2022 and going onwards?
Yeah. So the plan is, our vision is that essentially there are tens of millions of creators that are creating like commercial grade content, really cool content that businesses can use or individuals would love to pay for, and are not even aware of that. So you have, even if you take Armenia, you have tens of thousands of people that are creating cool content on their Instagram or social media pages without even realizing that it can generate money. And so our goal for 2022 and then the next years is like spreading the word about this opportunity and letting more and more people worldwide know that they can just sign up, upload their content and make money. And for some people it will be like passive income, and for some it will be significant income. And so that's the goal, is essentially reaching millions worldwide, and then adding more and more channels for monetization. So we support like 10 plus marketplaces now where you can sell your content through us, ideally, and eventually we will be supporting more and more marketplaces and different channels of monetization that we may not even know about as we speak right now. So those are the objectives for the next few years.
Nice. Well, Mikayel, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.